Religions that fall within the seventh category are Vishnu, Allah, and Jesus. Is it possible that a society of the Type 7 variety would be considered divine to us? Do those of us who have the belief that we are God act in this manner? What is the origin of my expression of this? Imagine for a moment that you are a spectator when Dhoni is attempting to hit a 6 at a cricket match. On the other hand, unfortunately the ball is starting to find its way into the hands of the fielder rather than an out. Following the halt in time, the ball is transferred to a new spot, and the procedure is repeated. The ball is rolled out in front of the fielder, and the time is paused like a video. By just pressing a button, a creature of Type 7 civilization has the ability to change not only all realities, but also universe's timelines, and even natural laws. This is also possible. This appears to be unbeatable, doesn't it? Now that we have everything out of the way, let's approach this scene from a different perspective. Welcome cosmic enthusiasts to another mind-bending journey with Spaceverse. Today, we're delving into the mysteries of the cosmos that might send shivers down your spine. Brace yourselves as we explore the enigmatic realm of Type 7 civilizations. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and join our spacefaring community as we voyage through the cosmos together. Imagine that you are Dhoni, the player who made the shot, and that the monster of the Type 7 civilization is a member of the crowd who hits a button to halt the clock. Are you aware of the most peculiar facet of this situation that is going to be taken into consideration? Even if the creature manages to sneak away with a selfie after saving you, you won't even notice it taking place. As a result, there are 3 significant questions that remain after all of this. Is it even conceivable that an extraterrestrial civilization with such a high level of technology could exist? What degree of impact does this have on the scientific community? Second, if that is the case, how can we be certain that it will not take on a different form while we are together? It is possible that this is also a possibility, isn't it? Lastly, with regard to the third question, let us assume that according to scientific evidence, a highly developed civilization does exist, and that it is not undergoing any changes in its form between us. So why is it that we are unable to access it? In any case, regardless of how perplexing the third question may be, we will have to figure out the answers in order for the scale of this society to make sense. Considering the fact that the concept of this Type 7 species was initially introduced to the world approximately 70 years ago, it was initially offered as a theory hypothesis framework or concept by researchers and scientists who had a logical perspective. In the late 1940s, reports of unidentified flying objects, UFOs, in the United States began to surface. This was during the 1950s, a time when the interest in discovering extraterrestrial civilization was at its peak. I would like to know more about Area 51 if you don't mind. This is the 5th and final subject, Subject 51. Are there any foreign artifacts that we might be able to uncover in Area 51? After then, scientists started classifying, forecasting, and evaluating the threats that were posed by such technologically superior extraterrestrial civilizations by utilizing a variety of scales, 2 of which were prevalent at the time. From the perspective of the Information Mastery Scale, which is the first of these measures, any culture has the ability to exercise control over a specific quantity of data. Additionally, it is able to control the letters of the alphabet across all 26 levels. Microdimensional mastery was the subject of the second tier, which emphasized the fact that any civilization is capable of exerting control over objects on the smallest possible scale. The idea that there are various degrees of civilizations is supported by this explanation. They are only able to exert influence on macroscopic objects that are visible to the human eye after reaching the lowest level, which is referred to as Type 1. They are able to exert influence over the fabric of spacetime at the highest level, which is referred to as Type Omega. With these 2 different degrees of civilization classification, we are able to make an accurate estimation of the level of threat that an extraterrestrial civilization would pose in the event that it does exist. But wait a second, before we can make an estimate of this, we need to know our own score, and this is where things start to get really interesting. This is due to the fact that when we plot humans on either of these scales, we quickly reach the informational level of P, which is a level that is substantially higher than the level that came before it. Nevertheless, when we consider things from a microdimensional standpoint, we still only reach Type 5, which is a significant distance from Type Omega, despite the fact that we have made a lot of efforts over the previous 70 years. The most major problem with these 2 scales is that they only permit the classification of extraterrestrials according to their extremely limited requirements. This is the most serious problem. We need a universal scale that takes into consideration all of these qualities and tells us where a civilization sits on that scale. This will allow us to avoid the apparent contradiction that arises when we see highly developed civilizations on one scale and less developed civilizations on the other scale. Finally, we have the concept of the Type 7 civilization, which was suggested as a potential presence of this form of society. This civilization was said to exist. Not at all, why not? What a shock. In what ways can we be of assistance? During that time period, scientists were actually contemplating the possibility of using this scale as a universal and precise one. On the other hand, it does not simultaneously yield unreasonable results. This particular concept was expanded upon by Nikolai Kardashev, an astronomer in 1964, when he discovered that the last two scales shared a similar component, which was energy consumption. It is Kardashev's contention that the amount of energy necessary to obtain information or exert control over ultramicroscopic objects will increase in proportion to the amount of effort that is expended. The Kardashev scale is a completely new scale that Kardashev developed based on energy usage. He named it the Kardashev scale since he came to the realization that energy may be a factor that brings people together. It was with this new system that I was able to classify all civilizations into three distinct categories: Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3. After some time had passed, however, this idea was found to be of such great use to other researchers that they extended it from Type 5 to Type 7 and added 4 more levels. Through the development of a scale, it is possible that the existence of a highly sophisticated being might be rationally justified. This brand new scale was perfect, with the exception of a single detail. Each of us was given the same value on this scale, which functioned as a representation of our standing in general. Following the realization that our technological capabilities are quite limited, the question of whether or not to incorporate the Type 7 civilization into our research became an extremely pressing one. Are we going to be able to identify a Type 3 society, which is comparable to a very simple society, as a result of future technological advancements? How far are we able to travel? And will we have sufficient energy to make it till we catch up? Calculations made by the astronomer Carl Sagan regarding the amount of energy that humans consume indicate that humanity has not yet reached the level of civilization that is referred to as Type 1. In spite of the fact that our current level is 0.73, we still have between 200 and 300 years to go before we can be classified as a Type 1 civilization. This is owing to the fact that by the time we achieve Type 1 civilization, we will have improved our technology to the point that we will be able to harness almost all of the energy that is available on our home planet. In the future, we will be able to bring ourselves closer to a Type 2 civilization by expanding our energy sources, such as the sun, and collecting more energy from them in order to sustain our increasingly technologically advanced way of life. In this location, we would basically enclose our host star, the Sun, in an engineering marvel similar to the Dyson sphere. This sphere will be able to capture the Sun's energy and transmit it to Earth in the form of power through its solar panel ring configuration. This indicates that we will have to extract all of the energy from the Sun in a literal sense. Through the utilization of this energy, we are able to develop technologies that will enable us to access other solar systems. In the process of doing this, we will also be able to use Dyson spheres to squeeze out the suns of other solar systems. This will hasten the progression of our technical capabilities to the point when we will be able to fill the entire galaxy and cover each and every star in the Milky Way universe. When all is said and done, we shall evolve into a Type 3 society. It is time for us to stop daydreaming for a moment and get back to the real world. The current state of affairs makes it impossible for us to even begin to tap into the combined energy of the Sun and the Earth, let alone bring the entire solar system under our control. We are unable to capture the energy of the entire planet, so how will we be able to determine whether or not an extraterrestrial culture is highly developed? No way is that possible. Because of this, why did our scientists come up with the idea that there is a civilization of Type 7? We came to the conclusion that Kardashev may have acquired this idea from an angel if during his lifetime he had access to the same cosmic images that contemporary astronomers like Edwin Hubble examine. This was the conclusion that we reached as a result of our inquiry into this topic. Kardashev stated that there are only 3 layers of civilization because our comprehension of the cosmos beyond the Milky Way was limited because of the time period. Researchers were able to harvest energy from objects that were significantly larger than galaxies as a result of the development of more improved telescopes and the revolutionary work of the renowned astrophysicist Edwin Hubble. This scale was expanded to incorporate further civilizational levels. This scale was enlarged by 4 levels of civilizations as a result of this activity. I would like to know more about these 4 different civilizations. Would you like to know who they were and how strong they were? It did not come as a surprise to us when we discovered that from the moment the transition to Type 3 civilization took place, mankind will populate every star in the universe. However, after this time, our demand for energy will continue to escalate, and even the stars of the galaxy would not be sufficient to provide it. Explosions such as supernovae and gamma ray bursts, which are more powerful than stars, are now within the realm of human capability to extract energy from. We will be able to harness the power of these cosmic occurrences, which hold the distinction of being the most powerful sources of energy that the cosmos has ever witnessed. In order to fulfill our energy requirements, we have the ability to either create or destroy stars at this level. Furthermore, by exercising control over and making use of this enormous energy, we are able to maintain complete control over the universe. We shall attain the status of a Type 4 civilization as a result of the technical achievements that we have made. After you've finished reading this, you might find yourself wondering what else is there in the universe. Each and every component of the Type 4 society has reached its maximum capacity for energy. How about this? We have successfully crossed the finish line. To state that is not accurate. During that time period, a number of modern ideas within the scientific community started to take shape. One of these hypotheses was the string theory, which examined the possibility of a multiverse and multiple dimensions. In light of this, experts considered the idea that there are other civilizations that live beyond our own cosmic sphere. Perhaps this is the reason why we are unable to notice them, but they are keeping a watchful eye on us. As a consequence of this concept, the 5th type of civilization came into being. At some point in the future, we will be able to build technology that will enable us to travel to other universes exactly like DC's Flash, who is able to navigate between other realities by utilizing interdimensional portals. At this point, we shall literally remove all of the galaxies from the universe. In and of itself, isn't this something that is unbelievable? Take into consideration the fact that this highly developed culture has successfully harnessed the energy of their own world and is now able to travel to other universes anytime they choose to do so as a result of these portals. Furthermore, they are obtaining all of that strength from those worlds that are not visible to the naked eye. The formal recognition of a civilization as a Type 6 civilization occurs when this objective is successfully realized. At this point in time, civilization will have complete command over the cosmos through a single mechanism. This will be completely possible because it violates the laws of physics. They would be unable to exercise control over the ability to create and destroy matter within their own bodies. As a result of the fact that scientists consider Type 7 civilization to be more of an individual power than a civilization, Type 6 civilization will be renamed to Type 7. Through the might of this unique mind being, every single concept, piece of data, and timeline that exists in the universe will have been rendered obsolete. The implication of this is that any and all consciousness that exists throughout the entirety of the universe will have been assimilated by this one intellect. Omniscient, which implies it is aware of everything; omnipresent, which means it is present everywhere; and omnipotent are all characteristics that describe this. The kind of supreme being that people currently refer to as God will eventually develop into this entity. We shall become a Type 4 civilization due to our technical breakthroughs. Perhaps the question, what else is there in the universe, will arise in your mind after finishing this. Energy has permeated every inch of the Type 4 society. Well, would you believe it? Here we are crossing the finish line. Those are not my words. String theory, which explored the idea of a multiverse and multiple dimensions, was one of several modern scientific concepts that started to take shape around that time. Therefore, scientists have considered the idea that other cultures may exist outside of our own universal sphere, which would explain why we are unable to sense them. Nevertheless, these extraterrestrials are likely keeping an eye on us. This concept gave rise to Type 5 civilization. Like DC's Flash, you can hop between dimensions via interdimensional portals. We shall in due time create technology that lets us visit parallel universes. This is the point where we're going to physically extract every galaxy. This must be incredible all by itself, right? Consider. This advanced civilization has tapped into the power of their own universe, and via these portals may travel to other universes at will. They are accessing those invisible regions to harness all that power. This is the formal criterion for recognizing a civilization as a Category 6 civilization. By this point in time, humanity will have mastered the cosmos with the use of a singular device. The ability to create and destroy matter could not be regulated by them, as it contradicts the laws of physics. Type 6 civilization will be renamed to Type 7, since scientists now consider Type 7 to be more of an individual power than a civilization. This one mind being will have superseded all the thought data and timelines in the omniverse. Everything in the omniverse that is conscious will have been consumed by this one mind being. The term omniscient describes it perfectly. It knows everything is present everywhere and has unlimited power. Over time, it will develop into the kind of all-powerful entity that humans currently call God. Now that I have more information, I can see that not only is this an amazing concept, but it is also a very real possibility. Numerous scientists have put forth the hypothesis that it is possible that we are currently residing in the awareness of this highly sophisticated civilization. Mainly due to the fact that despite the fact that it may sound ridiculous, experts have shown that cosmic atoms and brain cells share a great deal of similarities. Based on this, it appears that the universe as a whole operates in a manner similar to the network of neurons that we have in our own brains, with each galaxy in the universe being connected to every other galaxy. At this very moment, a great number of researchers are investigating this concept. A heartfelt thank you for being here with us today as we come to the end of our journey at Spaceverse. Your support is what drives our investigation of the cosmos. Remember to hit the notification bell and subscribe to our channel so that you can continue to explore with us. See you until the next time we cross paths in the cosmos.